Good morning, everybody. I'm Barry with BarryIndependent.com. Today we're going to do the brief. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. You're going to need this information to navigate the screwed up world that we live in the coming days ahead. If you're not new here, you know what to do. Share the show with people you love. Try and wake up other people. Let's continue to add to the ranks of the Bear Nation. Today we're talking about propaganda and misinformation. Not as we define it, although we'll probably touch on that as well, but as they define it. The big they, you know them, the reptilian overlords, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Illuminati, whatever, I don't care, pick your poison. Whatever group of scumbags you believe is responsible for destroying the world, that's the they, okay? Research conducted by censortrack.org has revealed that in only 3 months, information was withheld from the American people a total of 144,301,713 times. 144.3 million times in only 3 months, in the form of what is called second-hand censorship, whereby directly stifling the output of information, the reception of information is indirectly squashed. CensorTrack has logged a total of more than 4,000 cases of direct censorship by big tech. Topics that were censored include, drumroll please, abortion, the pandemic. This is how you get thrown off the internet, by the way. You say all these words in the same sentence. Abortion, the pandemic, race, transgenderism, and alleged violence.
You spun up somebody's Manchurian candidate.
Somebody out there just heard the term, like they just got their go code, like crispy honey waffle, and boom. Yep.
Killed the Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Was former Prime Minister of Japan here recently. So with a homemade shotgun. So take the weapons of war all you want. 3/4 inch pipe and a thumbtack. But I digress. I would never do that. You shouldn't do that either. But I digress. Content filters were used against large platforms like Fox News and its viewers, identifying news about the Ukraine war as inappropriate or offensive. That's another thing that YouTube currently doesn't like people talking about. And it's interesting. Some channels can get away with it and some channels can't. The channels that provide really good information on it about the strategery that's going on there, they're not allowed to speak about it. For example, like S2 Underground, shadow banned from speaking about the Ukraine war. Anytime we do an in-depth piece on the Ukraine war here, shadow banned. But other channels where they talk about, like, here's the types of tanks that Russia is using, they don't care. That stuff's good to go because it's infotainment. They're okay with infotainment. They're not okay with intelligence. They don't like actionable information being out there. It's part of why we have an alternate channel here on YouTube. It's called The Blue Collar President. You can look it up. That's a backup. And it's also part of why we have Patreon. Because contrary to popular belief, at least we can say what we want to say over there on Patreon. It's a much different environment than it is here on YouTube. But I digress. Censortrack.org noted, quote, secondhand censorship translated to Fox News's 9.18 million YouTube subscribers being prohibited from viewing potentially pivotal news about a possible path towards peace in the Ukraine war. It's also important to understand the way YouTube works is the algorithm runs in 7-day cycles. And if you're demonetized, if your video is demonetized, it takes 10 days to appeal that demonetization. So the algorithm has already moved on by the time you get a resolution, which is crafty. And the demonetization is not about, oh, I didn't make my 12 cents off of this video that YouTube said they would give me. YouTube doesn't pay very well, contrary to popular belief. The reason monetization matters is that the YouTube algorithm does not touch content that is demonetized. It only touches content that is monetized. It's even more offensive because they will demonetize your content and still run ads on it. They do that to us all the time. And so what that means is if they demonetize your content because it's inappropriate, not only are they still running ads on it, they're getting their buck, but you're not getting yours. The algorithm doesn't touch it, which means it's not in your suggested videos. It's not in your up next. It's not visible to the algorithm. Therefore, it's not pumped. And so it's a way, demonetization on YouTube is a way to shadow ban people. And then the resolution process for that, like I said, takes 10 days, not 7. And the algorithm moves in 7-day waves. So by the time you get a resolution, if you do, the algorithm has already moved on and they've successfully suppressed that bit of information for that period of time. So it's a very underhanded, backwards way of doing business on YouTube, which is why we have alternates. Big tech platforms have coordinated their effort to stifle users accurately reporting on real-life events they deem taboo. Yeah, as just mentioned. Rappers, political commentators, podcasters, and organizations have all been targeted and punished for not towing the line. Scientific studies have been blocked. Pro-life advocates have been censored. Evangelical pastor John MacArthur has had a sermon removed from YouTube for hate speech after mentioning that XX and XY chromosomes determine gender. Jacob's ladder, Jacob's vision, the spiral that he sees in his dream with angels descending up and down it, that's DNA, homie. And of course, the Father's talking to him about his seed. What's your seed? It's your DNA, right? So, intruder alert. No, we know who those people are. That's his seed. It's DNA, XX and XY chromosomes. Especially when you consider that this has been recognized science for years. And so the same group of people that have been telling us for decades now, trust the science, now no longer want to even talk about the science because the science doesn't support their ridiculous worldviews. We've transcended science at this point. Like, there was Yah first, there was the Heavenly Father first, and then there was religion. And so religion supplanted spirituality, and then science supplanted religion, and now ideology has transplanted science, and pretty soon stupidity is going to transplant ideology. We're getting farther and farther away from the intended state of man. It's become more and more self-centric, more and more egotistical, more and more, well, I think, well, cool. Did you create the heavens and the earth? No. Do you determine when you die? No. Do you determine, can you make it rain today or make the sun come out or make it snow? Do you make the grass grow? Do you make the trees grow? Do you make the birds sing? No. Nope, none of that. You're a pile of dirt that the creator of the universe breathed life into, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. That's it. So anything good that you do comes from him. Anything good that I do comes from him. Other than that, you're a pile of dirt.
There you go again with that hate speech. Truth.
I'm a super hateful individual, as you can tell from my demeanor. We are all piles of dirt. That's when you die, you go back to dirt. I know, right? Like, look at me. I'm a Christian extremist.
Oh, no.
I'm so Christian that Christians don't like me. But I digress. All right, so John MacArthur has had a sermon removed from YouTube for hate speech after mentioning that XX and XY chromosomes determine gender. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was censored 3 times by Twitter in March, also for transgressing against the preferred narrative regarding transgenderism. Well, let's just get this out of the way. Male and female, he created them. What? Male and female. How many different animals did Noah have to put on the ark? And everybody's going to say, everybody out there, other than the learned ones, are going to say 2, except for the clean animals. Yep. 7 pairs of the clean animals, which shows that the Torah predates the written law because Noah was before the giving of the law at Mount Sinai with Moses, right? So how did he know what clean animals were? Legalism, But here's my point. He only needed 2 of them, a boy and a girl, not 87 of them. He didn't need the one that felt like it was an extra furry squirrel rat today and was going to poop in a litter box, because that doesn't exist. That's ridiculous. That is a mental disorder. Oh, hate speech. It is a mental disorder, and you need help, not surgery, for that. But I digress. I saw a very interesting study. Guy talking about the argument that it's impossible to fit all those animals on the ark. And the guy was talking about how really all Noah needed were about 1,400 animals. Because if you think about a dog, for example, dogs, a breed of dog can interbreed with another breed of dog. And from that, you get another, air quote, breed of dog, right? And so if you had 2 of each through selective breeding over generations after that, you could make all the other different types, air quote, types of animals that we have. Subspecies, right? Different colors, sizes, shapes, attitudes, but they're still dogs. So I thought that was interesting. It's like 1,400 animals, not 18 million animals that he had to have on the ark. So another proof that Genesis is history, not a fairy tale in my mind. Back to the brief. It's not just about targeting one side of the political aisle, though. The Chalkboard Review, a heterodox outlet for education. Can you even say hetero anymore on the internet?
I don't think so. It still falls into that column.
Do we have a live stream anymore?
We are live. There are 1,181 people,
1,181
but only 340 likes.
Oh
Why
gosh.
is that?
You people need new hobbies. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're like, I'm going to watch that bear guy at his picnic table. 1,100 people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The likes are going up.
That's good. That helps us in our ongoing battle against the YouTube algorithmic robots. Every time you hit the thumbs up button, that's the same as kicking a T-1000 into a vat of molten steel at the end of Terminator 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It's that powerful. Yep. So, it's unfortunate that you can only like it one time. Because if I could start my day every day with a Spartan kick to a T-1000, I would do it. I think it's good.
Well, I can spray paint my face metal and teach you how to teep.
I refuse to kick you, because if you kick me back, I will die. This guy on the other side of this camera was a professional MMA fighter. Like, that's not an exaggeration. 26 heavyweight fights?
Yes, sir.
26 heavyweight fights, black belt in jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fun.
Striking. The way I fight Dudley is at range with projectiles. I'm not coming anywhere close to trying to kick Dudley. The first time we ever sparred, he told me, I think it was twice, to get my hands up. And the third time, he reminded me to get my hands up with just a very gentle fading. He pulled back and snuck this fist in there. It changed angle 4 times as it came in. And just a little right on the chin. Bah! Oh my gosh, I saw stars for probably 20 seconds. And then through his mouth go, get your hands up. Yes, sir. I will get my hands back up. Thank you. All right. It's not just about targeting one side of the political aisle, though. The Chalkboard Review, a heterodox outlet for education-related content and news, was targeted simply because it was not supportive of critical race theory. The National Education Association had actually reached out and asked social media companies to, air quote, crack down on anti-CRT propaganda. What? Without warning, Twitter suspended the Chalkboard Review's account, then later rescinded the decision. Still, the Chalkboard Review noted that it had lost all of its followers on Twitter. Yeah, so you got your channel back, you got your whatever, your account back, nobody's there to follow you anymore. Cool. See, the thing is, in many cases, they're not saying you're not allowed to talk. They're saying you're not allowed to talk to everybody. We don't want to elevate your voice. We want to diminish your voice. And the voices that are being elevated are the ones that are ideologically aligned with these big tech companies. These big tech companies are ideologically aligned with the tyrants, right? And so that creates a positive feedback loop for the tyrants and the people that support the tyrants, which I think is honestly a much smaller percentage of the country and the world than most people think it is. I don't think 51% of the country voted for Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., President of the United States of America, asterisk. I don't think, in fact, I know from polling, I don't think that more than half the country thinks an assault weapons ban is a good idea. I don't think that more than half the country thinks that abortions are a good idea. I've seen the polling, 86% of people. We talked about this recently. 86% of people polled, and it was a large poll. Thousands of people across a broad range of ages and economic strata. 86% of people were pro-life. So the perception is, they're creating the perception by controlling the flow of information that these extreme views are acceptable. You know, efforts against the Second Amendment, efforts against the sanctity of life, efforts against the sanctity of marriage, that all these things, that's extreme and it's bigoted, right? The fact that I love my wife and I want to be fruitful and multiply, that is incredible. What is that? Oh, that's a stink bug. Oh. Yeah, flick it. Flick it. Spartan kick it. Into the molten steel with you, stink bug. Sorry, we got distracted over here. And so they're using the control that they have over these platforms to generate the perception that these fringe beliefs are actually generally accepted across the broad strata of Americans and therefore the world. That's not the case. It's the literal definition of propaganda. It's the literal definition of misinformation, but it's being presented as if it's not misinformation. Here's the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Yeah. A hard time staying on topic this morning. Let's see. So the Chalkboard Review noted that it had lost all of its followers. This organization is by no means a Trump-supporting right-leaning organization. Its website states, quote, "We believe intellectual diversity benefits American education and therefore seek to publish a thoughtful range of voices from teachers to advocates to scholars and industry leaders, left, right, and center. In short, it doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, or even if what you say is true. In the digital world, big tech has become so powerful that it is simply agree or be silenced." Now, I want to touch on a couple of things. If you're on Patreon, you have the links to the articles discussed in the brief. There's a link in every video and every live stream that takes you to Patreon. It's $5 a month. It's the beginning of the month. It's the best time of the month to join Patreon. So come join us. This morning on Patreon, we had a bunch of people ask us about tips on getting started with sheep. So my wife and I shot a 20-25 minute video on how to get started with sheep this morning on Patreon. Lots of good stuff on there. Lots of good stuff on Patreon. It's where the real meat of the conversation is, over there. Again, because YouTube it's like playing Russian roulette, man. You never know when you put something up on YouTube whether or not it's going to stick, whether or not the algorithm's going to touch it. So Patreon. Now, some other channels as far as good information, information/intelligence, depending on the channel. S2 Underground. I watch S2 Underground. Whenever they put something out, I watch it. They do a good job over there. I'm a fan of what they do. Salty Cracker. If you don't like four-letter words, Salty's not your guy. And a lot of the stuff that he does is like super MAGA, which I'm not. I do not believe that Trump is the savior of the world. I do believe he was a better president than Biden, and I think that a good president matters in the White House, but it doesn't matter as much as whether or not you weeded your garden this morning. But that's an entirely different conversation. And a lot of what Salty does is infotainment, but occasionally he has some more straight up informative stuff on there. Jared at Guns and Gadgets, Second Amendment News, he's all over that. Same thing with Mr. Guns and Gear, another great channel. Mike Shelby at Gray Zone Activity, out front with Mike Shelby. Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness, his Patreon page, phenomenal. When he does his World Sit Reps, they're very good. SAWS, Survival Applications and Weapons Systems on YouTube and Patreon, very good content as well. Our brother Rex, the Borosaurus Rex, very good content. Asymmetric Preparedness. The Gorilla Mountain blog, again, if you're not a fan of four-letter words, he's not your guy, but the Gorilla Mountain blog on Patreon, I support him there. And then obviously Southern Prepper 1, Dave is doing an excellent job with the Boots on the Ground series. I want to point out though, as I have before, there's a lot of people with the Boots on the Ground series, both the intel and information that's being passed to him and the same that's being passed to us. A lot of people are getting breathless. And if you listen to Boots on the Ground, and I do, it's very repetitive. This place didn't have any gas. I didn't see any trucks on the road. There's the quality of medical treatment is going down. The availability of medical products is going down. Law enforcement is not responding. Crime is up. Food is getting more expensive. Like it's all the same themes over and over again. And it's a very micro aspect. It's zoomed in on what's happening on the ground. It's boots on the ground. And that's good information. But it shouldn't get you all breathless. It should spur you to action. We and many other channels have been talking about the probability of this happening for years. In some cases, decades. By the way, I forgot 4 other channels. David Dubine at Adapt 2030, Christian, the Ice Age Farmer, Diamond at Oppenheimer Ranch Project, and Ben at Suspicious Observers as well. All of those. There are quality. Oh, and our buddy Zach at American Homestead, right? There are quality channels out there. Something just either fell on my back or landed on my back. I'm going to choose to go with, it is a rabid assault squirrel that's planning its next move. It's using my back as a release point for my head. And any moment now, it's going to launch from my back onto my neck and rip my jugular out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm choosing to think at this point. Because, like, reality is what we make it, right?
That's true.
Right. So anything else is hate speech. Point here with all this is, as you onboard this information, don't get breathless. Use it to spur you to action. Go back to the macro picture and look at the trends that are here. Because if you get wrapped up in the rotor wash of all this on the ground reporting, you're screwed. You have to step back and get some perspective and look at the trends. Crime is up. You better be able to take care of your own security. Food production and food availability is down. You better be able to produce your own food. Medical services and medical components are incredibly hard to get right now. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Step 1, don't get hurt. Step 2, have some training and some equipment that if you do, you know how to deal with it, right? Information, which we just talked about, propaganda and misinformation. The reason I bring up all these other channels is so that you can start developing your own network, your own matrices, your own indicators as to whether or not where you are is a viable, tenable place for you to stay, for you to operate in. You guys know me. I have my own opinions about what's viable and what's not viable. If you're City recently produced a PSA on what to do if nukes fall from the sky, you live in the wrong place. And yes, I'm looking at you, Angry Prepper. I love you, bro, but you need to effing move now, today. Throw the stuff in the U-Haul and go. So, point being, right? You can't get all spun up in a tizzy. You have to take personal responsibility that as we see the system continuing to degrade, as it falls, we have to rise. Otherwise, there's going to be a vacuum there. Nature abhors a void. There is no such thing as a long-term power vacuum. Somebody or something will rise in that empty space to either serve you or subjugate you. And I would recommend that it's you that rises into that empty space so that you can serve yourself, you can serve your creator, and you can serve the people you love and then your greater community around you. Not another form of oligarchy, another form of tyranny, another form of, dystopian slavery, whatever the new fiat currency is, whatever the digital dollar is, whatever, who cares? On the one hand, I care very much so because I love this country. I love my people. I love my children. I want them to have health, wealth, and prosperity. On the other hand, I don't care at all. And it's this weird push-pull, this weird balance, because I know who my Father in heaven is. And I know that his word will not return to him void. And I know that he has told me, you will never go without your daily bread. Just do what I told you to do. And I know that he is faithful and true with provision, protection, and blessing. I know these things. So balancing these two things, it's a tightrope. It's a tightrope, homie, and it's difficult. So you should stay informed. You should check out all of those resources that I just told you about, because propaganda and misinformation from big tech is a real thing. But when you onboard that information, it can't disable you. You can't get stuck in an OODA loop of nothingness. You have to do. You have to get off the hamster wheel and go do. Take the information, onboard it, and let it spur you to action so that you are better today than you were yesterday. That tomorrow you're better than you were today. Do a little bit of something every day. Get better every day. Now, if you're one of those people that hops off when it's time to talk about how to support the show, this is your cue. Beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. All right, you've had an opportunity to exit the lifeboat that is the Bear Nation. If you're still here, we assume that you're here because you want to be.
And there's 1,700 people that want to be here.
1,700 people. Gosh, we need new hobbies for everybody. All right, burpees, everybody. Go. Just kidding. I don't feel like doing burpees right now either. I got too much coffee in my stomach. They'd turn into pukies pretty quick. All right, refugemedical.com. Truth in advertising. I am the founder and CEO of Refuge Medical. Hubris comes before the fall. So if I boast, let me boast in the works of the Father. He has blessed us tremendously. We started this business under 3 years ago in that barn right there. And we now employ 20 families. And we have kits on 4 continents with all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, thousands of law enforcement officers, thousands of civilians, EMS and fire departments all over the country, and in some cases around the globe. 50 lives have been saved to date. That's incredible to me. 50 lives because we showed up to work and did our job. It's amazing. We guarantee our kits forever. If you break them, I will replace them at no cost to you. All you got to do is send us an email. And I prefer an after action report so I can know what you did to break it so that we can make it better next time so that it doesn't break. We're in constant T&E, testing and evaluation. We send our kits to tier 1, tier 2 operators. Yes, those are things, actual things, not like LARPing on the YouTubes, like real people whose job it is to do things that never happened in places that don't exist. We send them first aid kits at no cost so that they can run them and break them so that we can make them better and better and better and better. And that's how we've iterated thus far with all the kits that we have, which is awesome because we get real end user feedback. We don't come out with a new product simply because we want a new product. We come out with a new product because there's an improvement that needs to be made or because there's a demand that needs to be met. So all that to say, Refuge Medical right now, the crazy kids that are running the show over there at Refuge, they decided they wanted to do a back to school sale. I said, all right, sounds good. Tell me about it and I'll tell the people about it. So, back to school sale. If you use the code SCHOOL20, SCHOOL20, all together, SCHOOL20, you get $20 off a Boo Boo 2.0. A Boo Boo 2.0, it's an American-made pouch. It's got all your Boo Boo kits in it, you know, gloves and tape and gauze and disinfectant and Band-Aids, and the ability to remove splinters. It's got some steri strips in there for, you know, if you have a decent laceration. It's got a mini compression bandage in there, which is a pressure bandage, like a flat Israeli dressing. It comes with an S-Mark bandage, which is the non-branded SWAT T tourniquet. It comes with an S-Mark bandage. And I would recommend you add some Quick Clot rolled gauze to that. You can check the little box at checkout. And you've now got a pretty comprehensive kit that'll handle everything from Susie's skinned knee on her bike to gunshot wounds. So, pretty cool kit. The Boo Boo Kit 2.0, the code for that is SCHOOL20. And then you can use SCHOOL50 for $50 off of a pack. A pack is a public access kit. It comes in a clear acrylic box that you hang on the wall. It's designed to treat 2 to 4 trauma casualties. Trauma loosely defined as holy crap bleeding, massive amounts of blood loss. And so it's got, you know, tourniquets in it and pressure bandages and wound packing gauze and high-fin chest seals and shears and emergency blankets and all the blah, blah, blahs. It's like a Bearfac on steroids that hangs on the wall in a clear case. We recommend you put them next to your fire extinguishers in commercial buildings, bleeding control kits. And by the way, if you work in an industry that has oversight from OSHA, you will be required by the end of this calendar year to have a first aid kit, an OSHA Class B kit that has a windlass tourniquet for arterial bleeding in it. And your organization is required to provide adequate training on the use of that tourniquet. So the pack checks all those boxes. Excellent for schools, churches, small businesses, banks, any public access areas. So that's the code for that is SCHOOL50 for the pack. Also, the ARCS Advanced Ripaway Kit, red and black are in stock. You can use promo code Bear Nation for 10% off everything in the store at Refuge Medical. This is the ARC. It's MOLLE compatible. It also comes with these straps on the back so you can hang it on the back of your headrest in your vehicle. It has this Fastex buckle here. You pull the buckle, right? And then it's got the red handle. Rip away kit. Pop this open. And inside of here, you've got a soft tourniquet on the back. You got a Sharpie on the inside. You've got Quick Clot rolled gauze, your shears. And what's cool about this is the shears are retained in here. They're not going to come out, but if you need them, they pull out of the kit, like so. And our brother Twitch, instructor at Refuge Training, he basically came up with this kit, which is cool. Little tweaks here and there from others within the organization, but this kit is his baby, and it's a really good kit. You got an S-Mark bandage right here, which is, again, a non-branded SWAT T. You've got Quick Clot rolled gauze. You've got a mini compression bandage, a flat trauma dressing here, a set of high-fin chest seals in the top pouch. And then in the bottom pouch down here, also, see that made in the USA? That's not for pretends, that's real. The guy that makes this is under our roof at Refuge. So localize your supply chains, right? In the bottom pouch, you've got 2 North American Rescue compressed gauzes for wound packing. There's a nasopharyngeal airway. down here as well for maintaining a patent airway, and then 2 more high fin chest seals. And so this will treat, the ARC will treat one really jacked up casualty or a couple of casualties. And the other thing that's cool about it, because of the way it's put together, if you mount this on your plate carrier or your chest rig, right, because it's a rip away, if you want to work on somebody, you can pop it open, reach through the pouches and work on somebody. Or if they're on the ground and you're on the ground, you can rip it off and throw it down on the ground next to the casualty and go to work that way. So it's a super thoughtful kit. It's in stock in red and black right now. It's the ARC, the Advanced Ripaway Kit. Promo code is Bear Nation for free shipping on the kit. Bearfax in all colors are in stock. Buckets are in stock, wound care buckets, birthing buckets, postpartum buckets. Big kits are in stock. The MAC, the Stomp, mini Stomp anyway. MAC is the mass casualty kit. The crash and smash kits for your vehicles. And when I say in stock, this stuff is in stock. What I mean is it's under our roof. Not like I'm hoping that the truck is going to show up so I can turn around and sell it back to you. It means that we've already paid for it. It's in our building, in inventory, ready to ship out today. That's what I mean by in stock. I don't mean like Optics Planet, where like it's in stock and you buy it, and then immediately after you buy it, you get an email that says back stock. We will notify you when your product is in stock. They still owe me a 1 to 8 optic, by the way. It's been like a year. Thanks, Optics Planet. You're the best. So that's Refuge Medical. We appreciate you supporting our small businesses. Check out the back to school sale. School 20 on the Boo Boo 2.0. School 50 for $50 off the pack public access kit. Refuge Training. Boise, Idaho is selling out super duper fast. I think 10 of the 15 essential responder slots have already sold out. Now, some of you on YouTube are like, what do you mean a Boise, Idaho class? That's because I told the patrons yesterday. I always tell the patrons first. So that way they have first shot at whatever it is, whether it's kits or exclusive events or training opportunities or whatever, they always get told first. Because there's only a limited supply and they've paid the cover charge to come in and hear the band play, which is Bear Pontificating. So, Boise, Idaho. There's 5 essential responder slots left, which is Responder 1, Responder 2, Responder 3 over the course of 2 days. There's room in Responder 1 and Responder 2. Responder 1 is Stop the Bleed in the March algorithm. So you will be taught hands-on in a classroom setting with lots of reps and sets doing the stuff. Massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, and everything else, with an intro into a little bit of Casovac and how to make a good 911 call. And then Responder 2 is CPR, AED, more reps and sets with massive bleeding tourniquets and pressure bandages, airway management, chest seals, application of, and an intro to scenario-based training, which typically is training how to deal with a car crash, how to get off the X, how to move the casualties, how to call it in, what to do with bystanders, all of that. Because statistically, driving is the most dangerous thing you can do. And then Responder 3 is Responder 1 plus Responder 2. Responder 3 is force on force and scenario-based training. It's TACMED, tactical medicine, where you get blue guns and the instructors get blue guns and you guys shoot each other up all day while doing PT and super high stress environments, barricading rooms, active shooter training, Casovac, Medevac, all of that. It's a blast. Responder 3 is a blast. Or you can get the package deal, which is Essential Responder, which is Responder 1, 2, and 3 over the course of 2 days. It's about 20 hours of instruction. And we have had four steely-eyed Green Berets say this is the best medical training for civilians that I am aware of. So in the mouths of 2 or 3, let a thing be established. How about 4? 4.
You won't forget it.
You won't forget it. And our buddy Emery at right here, Prime Combat Training, right here. Emery was at our Waco class as well. What's up, Emery? You know Emery, who works with Carl at Tactical Rifleman? They were like, guys, You should be honored to be in this class. This is the best civilian medical class we've ever seen. In the entire world of all the people we know don't know of anybody doing it better than this. Whoa, bro. That's awesome. Also, thanks for the shirt, Emery. He gave me a size XL, and I was like, that's not going to fit me. And when he gave it to me, it didn't. But I've been doing 75 hard for the last 30 days. And today, I am wearing a size XL t-shirt. Praise Yah. Watch what you eat, move your body, and the weight will fall off. Grindstone Ministries, you guys know what we do. We rescue kids and put them back together again. Pray for us. Please pray for us. And if the Father moves you to support us financially, we appreciate you. And if he doesn't, we appreciate you too. Please know we are literally engaged in battle right now. The details of which I can't go into, but multiple ongoing operations right now. It's bad, y'all. It's bad. We'll be okay. Grindstone will be okay. But we have a bunch of people that we got to love on. We got a bunch of people that we need to serve to the best of our ability. We have a bunch of people that we are going to forsake not the widow and the orphan and break generational curses. It's bad. But our Father is so good. He is awesome. And I'm just leaning into that because, there's all the cliches. Brother, if he'll lead you to it, he'll lead you through it. Like, that's super comforting. I prefer David, Psalms 139. Do I not hate what you hate with a perfect hatred? Yes. Yes, I do. Are we not vertically aligned, me and the Father? Do I not hate the things that he hates? Matthew chapter 18, verse 6. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him that a millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depth of the sea. Yeshua himself, Jesus, said it'd be better if we tie a big rock around your neck and push you into the ocean than you harm one of these kids. So all you scumbags out there, you remember that. Because vengeance is mine, so saith the Lord. But he has an excellent track record of using subcontractors. That's the brief today. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.